I bought this wrecked Audi RS7 from the auction, and when I brought it home, I was a little disappointed. But without getting too upset, I knew I had no choice but to fix it. I struggled to find parts and struggled to understand how everything came together, and that's because I've never rebuilt an RS7. Fast forward a couple of weeks and a couple of sleepless nights, we are near the end. But for this build, it's only the beginning, because I plan to mod this car since it's going to one of you guys that are subscribed to my Instagram.
Guys, we finally got the RS7 back from paint, and it looks amazing. Would you just look at that? Just look at it. Look at the gloss. Oh my gosh, it's kind of dirty right now, and are you serious? You see, I just recently moved down to Florida, and I absolutely love it. But there are some challenges for my type of work, and one of the challenges is finding a good paint guy, and I think I hit a home run with this guy because the paint work is absolutely incredible. So with that being said, we have a lot of work. We have to assemble this entire car. And guys, do you guys remember the seatbelts from this car were blown? And typically with blown seatbelts, what I do is I send them off to L&D Solutions to get them repaired. And guess what? They repaired them, but I had a special request. I said, guys, since we're giving this car away, surprise me with some kind of custom seatbelt webbing. I don't really care, just make it cool and make it custom. And they delivered. Guys, you won't even believe what they've sent me. And I still can't, like, oh my goodness. Look at this. They sent me a Trump seatbelt for the rear right side, and they sent me a Biden seatbelt for the rear left side. And the front ones are just regular black, as they should be. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Comment down something, because that's just hilarious. You know what? Shout out to L&D for that. That is some impressive quality work right there. I'm surprised they got full on custom webbing. Look at this, like, and it's repaired. So we are going to start this rebuild off from the interior, and specifically from the rear of the interior. So what we're gonna do is turn this around. And just like that, we have turned around. Wait, why did I come out the passenger side? Dang, this looks sick. All right, let's get this thing assembled. Enough drooling over this car. We got a lot of work. And I mean, all of this needs to be assembled. Seatbelts need to go in here, here, here. This all needs to be tucked away, made look nice. I don't know what that is. Let's get right into it.
First order of business is to lay out all the parts and make sure we are not missing anything important. I did buy a pack of clips on eBay because a lot of them break when you remove the trim.
Oh, on second thought, we might have a little bit more work on our hands than we thought. And, you know, I like to basically take apart cars and put it back together as soon as possible, just so you don't forget anything. But this one's been disassembled for over a month, so I'm hoping I haven't lost anything, and I hope that I can assemble everything. And so the reassembly process is basically everything we did to disassemble it, just the complete opposite. Yeah, that sounds simple. Let's get it done.
I still cannot believe that L&D Solutions was clever enough to surprise me with seatbelts like this. And honestly, I'm not even mad. I actually think it's quite cool. Definitely a funny conversation starter.
This part here is kind of tricky. I don't want to take this entire thing off, so I have to reach my hand down and kind of loop up, because this bolt here goes under. So let's see if we can feed it in there, get it threaded, and then tightened, because yeah, I don't want to take all this off.
A little bit of elbow grease and a couple of battle scars, and
just like that, it's all tight, and there's the bolt right there. Let's go ahead and put this all back on, reassemble this entire thing, and repeat on the other side.
The first thing that goes in is the seat belt. Make sure it is tightened and connected properly. The airbag pigtails can be tricky, so I would double check. Then goes the upper trim piece that goes before the large bottom trim panel. Once you got all those tightened, you can switch to the other side and repeat. Next on the list was the trim panels we took off while we were diagnosing the issue with the headlight not working. I did put on new clips, the ones that I bought from eBay, and I clipped this panel back into place and everything was perfect. Last piece was the rear seat.
So we got the entire rear end assembled, and I want to show you guys this. Actually kind of looks legit, not gonna lie. Look at this. You got Trump on the right, a Biden on the left. The rear is all assembled, and it honestly looks kind of sick. Look at that. I don't know. Oh man, that's crazy. All right, what we gotta do is assemble the front. This one here is just like a vanity belt. I mean, it's blown, so it's not good. And in order for us to finish up the interior and take all these little miscellaneous parts and put them back into their place, we need to replace the two front belts, which are right over here. So these are a little bit more complicated. They have a couple of pigtail connections on them. Not only is it just the SRS? It has a pigtail right there. It's got one on top. And then I think there's one more because these like retract and stuff like that. Anyways, they're quite fancy. So let's go ahead and put them in.
I started putting the seatbelt in and I was a little bit confused because
they made these so identical you can't even tell which one is right, which one is left, unless it doesn't matter. That 3409 4304, and we have the identical number here, 13S 14S. Great, well that helps. Oh man, look at this though. These bags don't even look like they were tampered with, but they're fully repaired. Crazy. It's like literally OEM 100% quality. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and try to figure this out. Let's see, that part number, same thing. Oh my goodness, I don't think it matters.
I was so confused. I was looking on eBay if people were selling them as a specific left or right seatbelt, not just a front belt that fits both sides. And people were selling them separately labeled left or right. So I knew there was a way to tell them apart somehow. Upon taking a closer look, I noticed this notch right here, and that was a dead giveaway which one goes where.
So we got the belt on, and the last piece is to install this bottom section into the seat right there. It's pretty simple. You just put it on and click it on. So I'll show you guys right now, just like that, and it's on right there. That's it. Now we got ourselves a functioning seatbelt. Boom. Boom. Now it's came time to tuck in all of this work we've done. I hope everything fits, and I hope that we will never ever have issues with this stuff. So and just like that, it looks all OEM tucked back together. This was, if you guys remember, the most concerning area of the vehicle, the wire harness. It is all repaired, tucked away. I cannot be happier. We got a couple more pieces for the interior, and we are officially done with the interior, like 100%. With the interior put all together, we can finally start working on the front end. And guys, I'm so excited to start working on the front end for multiple reasons. One, this front end right here is about to look so good. And two, I have 3 Audi RS7s and all of them are torn apart, and it's kind of a mess in here, and I'm kind of getting scared because I'm like, man, what RS7 is this part off of? You know, what part? Anyways, I'm ready to put one together, and then I'm gonna be feeling a lot better. So guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and start with setting this fender gap. To set this fender gap, a big tip for you guys is to start from the very bottom. Start right here, walk all the way up, and then this way. Oftentimes people set the gap over here, and then it's kind of impossible to set the gap over here. This one is first, then that one. So let's get right into it.
Setting gaps on a car is art. It is one of the most important things when it comes to standing out from the bad rebuilders. There are tips and tricks to each panel, and I just told you guys the trick to the fender panel.
Just look at that now. See how much better that gap looks? Right here, we still have a little bit of planing to do. I think I need to move this fender just a little bit back, but we will see this once we start adjusting the hood and stuff like that, because this kind of plays with the hood, and there's a screw over here. It's kind of complicated to set gaps, to be honest with you guys, but once you understand like the shape of the fender and kind of like the idea of how all the things work, then it just kind of gets easy. So yeah, that's kind of my little 5-second tip for you guys. Let's go ahead and set the gap on the hood now. The hood is the next thing.
The hood definitely is a harder panel to set gaps on. You can see in this time lapse, I open and close the hood just about 100 times, and honestly, that's not even bad. Oftentimes, people send me pictures and ask for advice how to set gaps on a hood. I really can't explain it through a picture, unfortunately, but I'll try in simple terms. There are 2 hinges that hold the hood. Those 2 hinges are your main adjustments. Then you have a hood lock, or 2 depending on your vehicle. That will be the adjustment of how low your hood closes. Make sure both sides are even with the fenders, and the last piece would be the rubber grommets. Those will give you the fine-tuned adjustments.
So after like 2 hours of just playing with this, I think I finally got it. Let's take a look at this. The gap on the door, as you can see, is nice and even. Look at that. Gap up here looks pretty darn sharp throughout the entire hood. Just like that. And then the gap over here looks nice and solid as well. And then this wasn't even adjusted. But we still may tinker with it after we get this bumper realigned, or sorry, reassembled and aligned right there. Because if those gaps are not good, I have to lift the hood up a little bit, then I have to lift with the, lift the fender, just play with it. Next thing on the list is to actually pull off this bumper and get it fully assembled. And I really hope I have all the parts, because if we don't, that's gonna be a big problem. So we have a lot of parts in the rear bumper, and then we have that box right there with some aftermarket components for the front bumper if we're missing any grills or anything like that.
You see, these new cars just seem to love making the front bumper more complex than a space shuttle. There are so many components to a front bumper. Every time I assemble a front bumper, my toes are crossed because I hope I don't have any missing pieces. I went ahead and switched out the main grille, which wasn't that bad, put in the lower valance, which was a little bit confusing because the aftermarket one mounts a bit different than the OEM one. Next is the side vent, then the side grille, then the inside to make it look pretty, and lastly was the headlight washer squirter, and voila.
And now the front bumper is officially complete. It took me just about 2.5 hours to complete this entire bumper. But honestly, everything fit pretty darn good. I'm actually quite surprised. Just a couple of quirks and nerks that I had to get out. You know, like funny things like these clips here, and then I had to put a little spacer back here to make sure that this sits nice and flush. But besides that, everything kind of lined up, so I'm happy with that. Before we put this on, I do need to put on this air duct here, a little shield down here, and just a couple more things, and we can finally put on this front bumper and get the complete look.
We are almost ready to put on this front bumper. A couple of air ducts and the front bumper goes on. This front bumper is extremely tough to put on by yourself, and plus the fact that it has 100 connections adds on to the difficulty.
Guys, I put this bumper on. First of all, the gaps lined up amazing, and second of all, this looks absolutely insane. I literally didn't think that it would look like this. I just thought, like, you know, I don't know. This is crazy. And the craziest thing is that you can actually win this car by simply doing one thing. That's subscribing to my Instagram at BYBTim. So all that details to the giveaway are in the description. And now let's just take a look at this thing. Are you kidding me? Look at this. Just take it all in. Look at that. Look at the gaps. First of all, let's just acknowledge the gaps, even though the bumper's not even screwed in all the way. Look at that. And then look, perfect. And then this side, where the accident was, ready, look at this. This side is just a teeny bit bigger. I gotta push this bumper up, but look at that. Are you, oh my. This is crazy. And tomorrow, this thing here is going to the wrap shop. It's gonna get wrapped in a color that I absolutely love, and I'm sure you guys will love it as well. Maybe I'll sneak peek the color tomorrow, but we'll see how I feel. And then I did get another build, which is right over here, and it's probably one of the freaking craziest builds I've had on my channel. I don't know if you can tell anything, but here's a sneak peek. See you guys tomorrow. Beautiful sunny day here in Florida. And there are a couple of things I want to address before we take off to the wrap shop. One of them being the gap right here to the hood. It's a little bit bigger than it should be, and it was smaller, so I over adjusted it. The way to adjust this is actually, you see that like sprocket one right there? You gotta twist that sprocket, and that will actually adjust the height of this over here. Next thing I want to address is this gap, and just by looking at it from experience, I can see that this headlight needs to be turned just a little bit like this. So it needs to basically be pulled out and then turned in. That way this is gonna be tighter and this is gonna remain the same how it is, because it looks great over here. And then we got a fender liner and a couple minor things to do, so let's get right into it. That way we can get this thing fully complete and into the wrap shop.
By removing the Torx bolt, we can turn this adjusting screw with the flathead screwdriver. For the headlight, you need to loosen every bolt that holds the headlight, then adjust accordingly. And while holding the headlight in place, tighten down every single bolt.
Now it's fender liner time. Typically I outsource all this work to anybody that's at the shop helping me, because I absolutely hate putting on fender liners, simply because it's just an annoying job. But since I'm here alone, actually, you know, I'm with you guys. Let's do it together.
With the car in the air, take off the wheel and make sure you're using a safety jack when getting under anything that can kill you if it falls. Since the old fender liner was ripped out of here, I needed to remove the old mounting hardware that was still in the car. The fender liner fit in snug and everything went back into place. I love it when things go the way you want it to.
fender liner is on, and I have not put on this front piece just yet, although I have it somewhere here, right over there. The reason why I haven't put it on yet is because, first of all, I don't have this little side marker right here, and this is the bulb to it. So I want to see what I can do to cancel out this bulb and not have any lights on the dashboard. That's first of all. And second of all, this bumper is going to come back off again to get wrapped. So I figured once it gets wrapped, everything, I'll bring it back, realign the bumper, make sure it's all perfect, and then put that front piece on. So yeah, that's kind of that. And the last thing to do before we take off is clear that airbag light. Hopefully it's gonna come off. You guys know I replaced that entire wire harness up in here, and it's been a crazy job, but I'm extremely happy that everything works. So look at that. Front camera, front sensors are working. Night vision right here is working. It's kind of been a blessing. So let's see if we can get this airbag light off. Last thing, and we're basically all set. Look at this. Seat belts in, both sides. I'm super pumped. So guys, we went from 102 fault codes down to 6. And adaptive cruise control has 3 fault codes. Interesting, because I'm going to try to code it with this computer, but that's not what we're focused on right now. Right now we have an airbag light from a driver knee airbag igniter resistance too low, which is very interesting because the driver knee airbag I replaced. So maybe I didn't really connect it. Let's go ahead and take it apart and see what that is.
We are all human and we make mistakes. My biggest concern and worry right now is if the bag is bad, but if it's not and it's just some simple connection issue, well, I'll own up to my mistake.
So I have just reached under here and I felt the pigtail, and it was plugged in, but it wasn't like fully plugged in. So I just clicked it in, and I think that's it. No more airbag light. We're basically free of codes. Let's just hope we can adapt the distance cruise control. So let's see if we can clear the code for sure though. Airbag light right there. Go to trouble codes and erase. And yes. Guess what? Guess what? No more airbag light. It was right there. No more fault codes. Yes. Unfortunately, at the car wash there was copyright music, so I couldn't really film much besides B-roll. But anyways, before you guys start beating me up in the comment section regarding the brush, just know one thing, that the owner there is a geek when it comes to washing cars. And as soon as he saw this car or the R8, I washed my R8 there, he came up to me and he's like, "Why'd you come to us?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, I'm just trying out new car washes around here." He's like, "This is the best car wash in the whole Florida," whatever he was saying. He's like, "I'm a geek, I've been doing this for 40 years, my brushes are," and he starts explaining to me all this special stuff in his brush, and truthfully, he was really knowledgeable in what he's doing. So I'm sure that brush is pretty darn good, and that place is really maintained, because every time I come there, the owner is there and he helps out every single person. So that was pretty epic of that. But anyways, the car cleaned up like this. It looks super darn sharp. We're pulling up to the shop right now. We're about 6 minutes away, and we're gonna be dropping this thing off for wrap. I cannot be more excited. The car has made it here perfect with no issues, no lights, no nothing, no overheating, anything. The car is darn perfect, literally. The repair has been phenomenal and everything's been going to plan, so I'm super pumped about that. Guys, I'm pulling out. I'll show you guys the car once I step outside, and the color that I'm gonna go with, and oh, I am so pumped. So we have officially dropped off the RS7 at the wrap shop. And I want to show you guys quickly this AMG here that's in the process of getting wrapped. Look at this thing. I've actually never seen these, kind of sick, honestly. And here is the wrap, and here's the man himself that's gonna be wrapping it. By the way, this is his RS7, and he just unwrapped it. So I'll show you guys a picture of how it looked wrapped. Yeah, hit it a little bit. Yeah. Before I show you guys the wrap, go in the comment section and let me know what color you guys think it is, because you're about to find out very soon. All right, Vito, pull it off. Let's see this. There it is. We got ourselves some Inazitech Midnight Purple. Dang, look at that color. From a distance, it looks literally black. Up close, look at that, purple. So imagine that being wrapped in that color out in the sun. It's really gonna bring the lines out. It's gonna make this car look even more aggressive. And then we got gunmetal wheels for it. Ooh, I can't wait. But all right, guys, I'm gonna leave you guys off right over here. And in the next episode, we're gonna be picking up this RS7 here, all wrapped up and nice and clean. I'm gonna go ahead and ask Vito to take a couple of snippets and stuff like that, or maybe I'll come back here and just take a couple of videos of B-roll. Once again, if you wanna win this car, all you have to do is subscribe to my Instagram at BYBTim, and you are entered to win. All the details for the giveaway are in the description down below, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace.